1, 2, checkity 1, 2. Good morning. Audio check. We will get into it shortly. It is January 22nd, 9:17 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will start bringing it to you live at 9 a.m. Web3. Whoa, a little late on the draw with the buttons there. Good morning, good morning. It is January 22nd. It's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Coming to you live. We are going to get into the chart. What's going on? Grayscale this morning. Oh, lips are just a smacking with the coffee Joe here. Grayscale this morning. They sold another 19,000 Bitcoin. So we're talking like these, dropping $500 million at a time out of this thing. FTX sold about $1 billion of Grayscale's fund ETF, planning much outflow outsource. That was previously. So we're looking at what's going on. But I mean, the price still hasn't moved too much. We will get into the charts in just a second. We're gonna start scanning the things, like we're reading the paper together here this morning, see what's going on in the most recent crypto and daily news. And this morning it is Grayscale continuing to unload the GBTC fund and put that into the spot ETF fund of Grayscale, I believe. The BlackRock and Grayscale ETF. Get your fiat ready. Absolutely. Liberty and trust in the building. Everybody, welcome. Good morning. Yes, absolutely. Get your fiat ready. Absolutely. I have been slowly moving more funds to trading exchange. I do want to get into the low leverage long. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now, of how nice it would be to ride a low leverage long through a bull run. And we're going to test our hands. We're going to test our hands this year and see what happens with that. With tat. So the market down a little bit. The market's down a little bit. Obviously, we expected the market to come down a little bit. We knew that the Grayscale GBTC fund basically became useless when the spot ETFs became a thing, but they needed that. They accumulated it. All of that accumulation into the GBTC fund was just in preparation for this, essentially, because now they can suppress price, they can impede the growth, as well as accumulate money from new investors for the spot ETF. And keep their system going. As long as they control and regulate this, they should be able to still continue to keep a cap on finance. And I think that's the idea with them. So a lot of people push you to go to self-custody, et cetera, et cetera. But I heard the first valid argument you know, for like, I mean, for somebody with not a lot of money, you know, and who's never had a huge hand in legacy finance or traditional finance or big American real estate, et cetera, talking hundreds of millions or having billions of dollars, you know what I mean? So it's nice for us little guys who feel like we've been really beat down by the man, and just looking for that leg up to build some more value and have a little self-sovereignty and things like that. But you know, with billions of dollars and a family legacy, you know, putting that onto a USB drive with your seed phrase just stamped on a little metal plaque seems silly and irresponsible, right? And so I get that. I definitely don't have $6 billion in family wealth that I'm looking to put on a USB port. So I can understand why people want to go to the ETFs. Big money will go to the ETFs. The large individual wealth will go to ETFs. Pension funds will go to ETFs. So it makes sense. It finally made sense to me, because I didn't see the point of an ETF, because the whole point of Bitcoin is to have self-custody and control of your own wealth, etc. So lots of red in the market today. I mean, but we're expecting this, and this is why at the bottom of this thumbnail it says discount prices, because it's exactly what it is. It's Grayscale selling off their GBTC fund, and that's why we can be happy about these low prices. It's discount prices, in my opinion. I'm distracted over here on my other screen. Hopefully everything's working good. Okay, let's get into the short. No, don't get into a short. Don't trip by the dip. Yeah, that song's dope. I should actually see if I can find that song by Cryptoface. It's like a hard trap song. Don't trip. I can't even remember it. It's about don't trip by the dip, though. It's like super hard trappy song. But let's get into it here. What's going on? I'm still not too scared. Like I said, when this move happened, I told you for my low leverage position, I was going to start stacking in on these FIPS. And I did just that. I'm still in an open position. Yikes. It's a little bit in the red. But as long as we stay above this line, I do think that prices above us are possible. And if we lose this line and confirm this line as resistance again, then I will be worried about my position, my low leverage long position, right? Because we flipped this so far, we have flipped above this line, but we haven't tested it as support, in my opinion, just yet. And I think we will. So this is why I have stacked my entries in these positions where everyone's scared that it's going to dump back into the abyss, because we want to buy when others are fearful. I love to see this over here on CoinMarketCap. This is the lowest the greed has been in like a year. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even believe how long it spent up here. People were just like, we're holding on, screw it. But that was the diehards, right? Like I said, retail isn't even here yet. A lot of people, Shirley Sound is in the building too. Yo, big wrench in the house. Yeah, so I mean, I'm really happy to see it coming down to 56% here. We spent so much time up here in the high greed area. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not tripping. I'm slowly buying this dip and stacking into this low leverage long. For the newcomers in the chat here, still going into this long on a low leverage position. This is the one I'm looking to hold. Still playing. I love FEMEX because you can still play with other positions and have a little high leverage account as well. Yeah, it's pretty great. But anyway, what am I saying here? So yeah, we're hitting entries. I hit my last entry hit. It was $40,300. Been talking about these entries that I've had, and that one's pretty nice. But I mean, we're still a little bit in the red. I think my trade's down 7% on the 7X, which is not so bad. And I still have one more entry on this trade. So will it hit? I mean, and that's when we're getting to the sketchy point. But as long as we don't lose this line of support, that's my stop loss. Basically, is a confirmation on this line as resistance again, based on this previous bull run. So, I know I was talking before, like a dump to 33K, but the longer this thing stays up here, the less likely I think that is to happen, because there's now 10 ETFs collecting Bitcoin. right? So now it's going to be a competition. Who's on Times Square? Who's on the billboards? The sales forces of these places, these firms will be out on the ground looking to bring money in this year, right? We're going to see crazy volatility. So maybe 33K still happens. And that's based on a fib retracement from 2022. I just don't know. But anyway, what do I want to say here? The reason I think that it's getting less likely, this is insane, but it has a big CME gap on the S&P 500. But we hit a high of $48,068. So the previous high was 48,000. It's 4,800. Thinking of Bitcoin here. S&P 500 hit a high of $4,868 from the previous high, which was 48.18. So over a day's trading, that thing fucking pumped crazy. This is nuts, right? I personally did not think that the S&P 500 could recover everything that it lost in 2022. This is insane. This is a mass amount of money of all these motherfuckers that dumped on everybody's heads through the pandemic. And after that, massive and most exciting bull run that this thing has ever seen. So volatility increasing everywhere, and a lot of reasons for that. And I don't think it's got anything to do with the dollar dying anytime soon. I don't. That time horizon I think is longer than people think, even if it is controlled by some sort of tokenized currency. But this is insane. But there's a large gap here, so this thing's probably going to come back down and retest the high at 4,800, because that was a massive pump. $70, $60 over the high or whatever. That's crazy. So we've been following that for the last couple of years. We could see we had the same March 2020 crash, right? Massive bull run, massive crash. Well, I don't know if you want to call that a massive crash or a bear market. In my opinion, we've just held this trend for the last 10 years. But now we're back above that support we had in 2020 and 2021. And that is my crucial line for deciding whether or not this thing is going north or south. And that move at the bottom of this, there we go, from this fib that I got stretched out here is $32,300. And that lines up with the previous run-ups here, which would be sketchy. But I think that would be a quick move if that were to happen. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen in the news. You never know what's going to happen in the news. What's everybody else thinking? Are you DCAing? These are good times to DCA. Absolutely. Absolutely. You should be DCAing into this market. But, I thought we'd be bouncing off that 40,300 mark. And we did. You can see this candle played a really large bounce off that 40,300. And I probably could have closed that trade in profit, but that's all right. We're stacking the low leverage. We're trying to have that buy when others are fearful mentality here and stack a low leverage long position. So we might have to eat some red candy for a few minutes. Yo. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Shirley Sound? You in some trades? Everybody in trust? Are you still here? Are you in some trades? Or is everybody sitting on their hands? I probably should have just sat on my hands and jumped in right at the bottom, but you just never know. You just never know with this darn thing. Lowered my size in speculation that we will see 38 to 32. Yeah, very possible. 38 to 32, exactly. And that's that lines up with this. So, I mean, I really like the fibs, right? And the way I read the fibs, this thing from this breakout that I called from this resistance line here, we have hit the 1618 of that move and then came back down and tested pretty much the zero line, the bottom. Oh, maybe not quite zero, but I believe we'll work our way down to at least this orange line, and if we lose that, then its fall is 38 to 32, like 32,300 would be my negative 100% of this move on the fibs that I've got laid out here for quite a while. So Looking for a scalp short, yeah. Could be a definite scalp short. Now, the thing, though, with money flow, it's like, 1 week it was going to Ethereum. When the ETF was approved, people love speculation. So when the ETF was approved, and like you're speculating, right? People are always waiting for to play speculation, because speculation is what creates the volatility that allows us to make some money off trades. And if this thing, the S&P 500, pumped to 48.68 here, and it has this big gap. Okay, so money flowed into Ethereum, Bitcoin came retraced, or no, sorry, money flowed into Ethereum, then it went to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's retraced, and now the S&P 500 is pumping. Okay, now it's pumped to a new high. This thing is very likely to retrace to the high now, come back $70, right, to test that high again. So that means outflows here and inflows somewhere else, right? These guys, if you have that kind of money, you talk to people with that kind of money, and that's how you plan accordingly. That's how people fucking rug everybody on meme coins. It's the same thing, and just on a bigger scale. And I believe we'll see that money hopefully come into Bitcoin here above 38,000, like everyone was saying. So the breakout line of my fibs there is actually 37.6. I don't know. Somewhere right there. 37, yeah, around 37.6. And that's on a candle body close, right? I've been going off candle bodies lately, so it could go a little lower if it went to the wick, but 37.6 would be the zero line of this fib breakout. So I'm hoping to stay above that, and then be looking forward to a move, hopefully back to 48K. But if we lose that here, then that's, looking unlikely. But like I said, everybody's accumulating this stuff now. A dozen ETFs accumulating this stuff now, as only one sells off. So I just don't know. I feel like this is going to get a lot of people waiting for these lower prices, and Bitcoin loves to run away on people that are fucking waiting for lower prices. We saw that all 2023. So that's why I'm just taking the risks. We played, a couple nice trades in this range. Well, actually quite a few, because this is like 8-9 weeks now. So we've had quite a few here, and it's been good. No trades right now. Looking for scalp short. Yeah. We said that 1100 BTC buy. Sitting at 38K on Binance Futures on Bookmap. Bookmap. I haven't looked at Bookmap for a while. Do like Bookmap, though. Bookmap gives us an idea of where liquidity pools are. As Marty's mentioning there, you can see a buy for 1100 BTC. You know what I mean? So when you got someone like Grayscale, unloading 20K Bitcoin at a time or 10K Bitcoin at a time, you're going to see the incremental buys back in. And that's what I think that is we're going to see them trying to transfer all of this wealth without moving the price of Bitcoin too much. And to be honest, this is really not that much. So a speculative pump was expected, and still above the range we broke the first week of December. So it's really not that bad. Nothing much above, so most likely to come down, grab this week. Grab that liquidity. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so uncertain to me. I've been pretty sure of the moves, and now that we're riding 40K, I think this is just kind of where I'm like, ooh, hopefully my take is right, and that's just a quick wick and possible bear trap down here, like we've been talking about for a few months too, a couple months. Eventually some sort of bear trap happening, because everyone this was a bull trap. This is a bull trap. This is a bull trap. I love this. I love it. I love that. That's why we DCA. Yeah, a little bear trap. Could see a little bear trap. A little bear trap for sure. Yeah. And that's that's what we want. That's the reason I had these orders lower. I had this strategy in the last bull run, and it worked really well. I take whatever my full amount for my trade is, and then go in at the support points. 10% at the beginning, 20%. And then my order gets larger. So then when it hits the bottom order, being the largest order, then I'll hopefully be holding a nice position for the next leg up. In 2021, it worked well. So that's what I'd like to do in this run, in this bull run. But I mean, we still got 2 months, 3 months before the halving. So I mean, I could be totally wrong about this thing jumping right back up to 40, 50K. Could be totally wrong. But this thing would jump in 10K at a time all year last year. So unless some event happens, like some random new rate hike or somebody sends a big giant missile to the wrong place, there's nothing in the narrative saying for it to come down, right? Except for GBTC selling off the Grayscale. That's the only thing that I see right now for prices to come down. So nothing in the narrative for me yet. All traps. It's all a trap. Yeah, it's a trap. Totally. Market in general is one big trap, and that's why you have to DCA. I know Jared loves his DCA, but DCA as often as possible. Buy more often. And I know people, I mean, if you catch a dip, then buy a big lump sum, but DCA as often as possible. Even if you had DCA'd every single day of 2023, you still doubled your money, right? Okay, so sure, it did 150, 160% gain, but you doubled your money even if you bought every day. So if you didn't want to risk any volatility, you bought every day, you doubled your money in 2023. You can't find a better savings account. And if you want bigger gains, then you're just a greedy fucking prick. And you're the reason Bitcoin's here, right? So yeah, we're still degens in trading, but I mean, Bitcoin is enough. It really is enough. And I want to continue to push that message because, you know, as innovative as crypto is, and there's certain projects that are doing really, really good things for the world. The idea is that Bitcoin, it really should be enough, and there's a good chance you can get washed and rinsed in other coins if you don't have a dollar cost average strategy and mindset. Because I know even Cardano holders getting cooked by speculators big time, and that's a great project. That's a great project with long-term goals, and people are getting washed and rinsed in the speculative traders market. And it's not Cardano's fault. It's not Hoskinson's fault that people are getting washed and wrecked in his project. It's just part of crypto. He's really a fucking brilliant man. I listened to that guy in a couple of conversations lately, and it's pretty wild. DCA for financial stability. Yeah, you have to. And it's the great thing about the Twitter spaces and listening to some of these billionaire pricks who are just getting into Bitcoin and stuff now is that they're making me think about other things too. It's like, okay, I'm a Bitcoin maxi, and I'm going to continue to be a Bitcoin maxi. And even these guys are converting to Bitcoin maxis because they know it's just, there's nothing else like it. But it's like, okay, you know, if shit really hit the fan, maybe you'd want to have some physical gold. ABB means like the chat. ABB equals ABB, always buying Bitcoin. Yeah. Dollar cost average and always buying Bitcoin. Always buying Bitcoin as often as dang possible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so like, you know, if shit really hit the fan, if we want to have some end of days fucking type mentality, like all these guys that are building bunkers and shit, it's like, then maybe you're going to need some 10K worth of physical gold, right? I don't know. You know, 10K gold, 10K is silver. You know what I mean? Some cash, some gold. It's like some cash, some pounds. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you might want a basket of eggs for something like that. But it's Bitcoin or barter, and that very well could be. Like, I just don't see us going backwards, man. They're doing things with computers now, so it's like people are wondering, like, oh, is AI smarter than us, or computers smarter than us, and blah blah. It's like, well, yes, computers are smarter than us, and they have been for a while. And now with quantum computers, it's insane. The computing speed and the ability to solve problems in these quantum computers It's too crazy. Like, I can't even fathom it. I'm not smart enough to explain it to you. Not even for a second. But this new thing that they're doing, where they can actually take human brain cells. They've got human brain cells in petri dishes playing fucking Pong with each other on computers now. Okay, so they've now developed a AI system. It's basically a synthetic human because it's physical brain matter from a real human, and they can develop AI. It learns faster than humans. It learns faster than AI. They're building synthetic humans, right? It's wild what they're doing out there, man. It's wild. And they have computers now with more capabilities than a human brain, but they're massive. They're massive computers. But now, all of a sudden, they've got little just brain cells playing Pong with each other and learning how to solve new problems. It's insane. Physical silver is good too. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but to me, it's like that's really, on some end of days shit. You know what I mean? And my worry with that, it's like, yeah, and it's like if you're preparing in that way, if you think that you need to have physical gold and physical silver, you better be fucking doing military style training every day too. Because if shit gets to that point, there's people coming for your gold, and you better be able to protect it, right? Like that's, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I got gold. It's like, okay, but you're a pussy. I'm going to take your gold. Oh, fine. You got gold. I got fists, strength, guns. I mean, you know what I mean? That's the reality. It's like there's going to be a bunch of people who spent all their money on fucking guns and not gold, and they're just going to come for your gold. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that Bitcoin wins. Because even for the people who don't believe in Bitcoin and buy and don't buy into it, if Bitcoin succeeds in what I believe its purposes, then we all win and everybody does good, and you don't have to worry about it, even if you didn't buy Bitcoin, because eventually you will have it, or some sort of digital currency that they've put in place, whether you believe in it or not. If it is to succeed, you better hope it does, because I mean, I think things are grim if it doesn't. Bitcoin runs offline. Yeah, Bitcoin runs offline now. So if you shut down the internet, you won't even stop it anymore. And who's stopping somebody from creating a different internet? It's like we have one network, but it's like maybe we need a second network. Who's to say that we don't get a second network? I mean, I know there's whatever, the dark web and DOS, or whatever the people are hacking around in and stuff like that. But it's like, who is stopping anybody else from creating another internet? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not getting on board with the end of days shit. I'm not going to buy into all these guys buying bunkers. It's like, man, if you blow the world up, cool. Then I'm dead and you guys are all just in your bunkers. What, like, I mean, that doesn't sound very great either. Ooh, bunker life. Who cares? I don't know. I'd rather be, what's the Elon's new quote? I'm going to say it again. It's better to be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Thanks for letting me know you have some gold. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't tell people you got gold. They're coming for it. They can't, I mean, they can come and if you're freaking wearing your seed phrase on a pair of dog tags and your USB around your neck, though, so I mean, like, what's the difference? What's the difference? What is the difference? That's funny. Oh, I was gonna put a new song in today, or I was gonna like air this song. I'm working on a song for an artist from Chicago. Just send me an acapella. It's interesting. Yeah, well, don't need to. Whoa, easy. Don't need to yell in the mic. I don't know. How deep are we in here? I can't see the right part of the screen. I don't know if I have much else to say. Like, I mean, I'm not too worried. I was expecting a retest of this line, and the line we're testing right now, actually I'll zoom out and we'll just look at where this line is, and this line goes right back to the 2012. So this goes back to the first bull run high. Okay, this was the very first bull run high. Actually, I guess this had a double top, but this was the first resistance that Bitcoin hit inside the trend it's been in for 10 years. Resistance, resistance, support, support, bear trap, resistance, resistance, breakout, retest. So that's another line. This line's over 10 years old. This line is over 10 years old. See, we tried to catch it as support, resistance, 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 support, support, wedge, breakout, retest. You know one thing. That's the only way I like trend lines. I don't like short-term trend lines. I really don't like short-term trend lines. That's why for short-term moves, I'm the Fibonacci man. For short-term moves, I am the Fibonacci man. Long-term, I use trend lines. We're stacking into the low leverage long. We're stacking into the low leverage long after playing a few longs. Actually, I played a few shorts in here, actually, I suppose. I had a couple nice shorts on Ethereum, to be honest. Yeah. We're waiting. We're calm. We're cool. We're collected. We're waiting for big opportunities because this is it. This is probably the biggest opportunity we've got in our generation. And I want to be a part of it. Let's have a quick look at Ethereum. So we even talked about this way back here. Way back here. Talked about there's no reason for Ethereum to get back up to the 61.8 and continue on. So I should have listened to my own fucking damn TA and took that long, but yeah. What do you do? Any dip, load up. Having is in 80 days. 80-day countdown. 80-day countdown to the halving, to the Bitcoin halving. I saw somebody say that the Bitcoin halving is going to half the price of Bitcoin, which would be pretty great, honestly. Do you imagine at the Bitcoin halving, the price just, whatever it was, it just cuts in half and then started running again? That would be something else. Let's knock this fib for a sec. Let's get the other fib out. Our original fibbage from the bearish move. Let's have a look at that again. Okay. So we talked about hitting the 78.6 and then having a retest just as the S&P 500 did. So we've got this reversed again. And this is also why I'm judging some of these lines as targets for the bull run as well. They will come up with something to distract the public from the halving. Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of this stuff already is to distract. Why has nobody talked about the halving? It's like traditional finance or whatever. They don't even understand the halving. They're not going to tell anybody. They're not going to tell the general public what the fuck the halving is or what it does or the supply shock or anything. I haven't heard anything about that in the news. Anywhere in media finance. And they absolutely understand it. Of course they do. Come on now. So we hit the 78.6. We talked about this. Now, when the S&P did this, it came back down, tested its lower fib. It actually went to the 50% fib again, which brings us down to the 32K mark. So if we do play it out as the same, which I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it could to that fib. Anyways, we played the 78.6% fib on the S&P 500. It took resistance and then quickly got back over top of it. You can see this was pretty much the same. Had some resistance, the first initial rejection, and then some floating time over before it hit its 50% fib and went back and broke its all-time highs. Fucking English today is bad. Jesus. Coffee gives me the old swollen tongue. I got the Timmy's coffee this morning. I feel like it gives me cow tongue. Got to fill their bags first. Absolutely. Yeah, they don't want you to know about it. Anyway, so if we look at that, we hit the fib, and it's not the same. It's not exactly the same. This isn't an exact science. They're just pretty similar, okay? They're pretty similar in exactly everything they've done over the last few years. Pretty similar, okay? Not exact. But that being said, we could just retest this 61.8 and keep going. I'm not saying we have to drop all the way to the 50% fib, because the 50% fib is another $10,000 drop from where we are, almost $7,000 drop. And that's a big chunk. And I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just don't know anymore. I just don't know. I was really thinking it would go all the way back to 33K, but I'm starting to change that opinion now, and I'm feeling a little more neutral. I'm feeling a little more neutral because of where the fear and greed is. I think that's a really great thing. Gotta fill the bags. Yeah, of course they get to fill their bags. And I think that, like, I mean, if they're all playing together, then, you know, they're just redistributing this GBTC fund's wealth back into these ETFs. That's why, like, I mean, the amount that they've dumped out of it so far is like $3 billion over, or with the, to this morning, it's got to be around $4 billion. You know what I mean? So they could have crashed the price to 33K in a few days if they really wanted to, but they're not doing that. So they've suppressed the price here. We're still above some important lines of resistance. With still chance of support here, right? So this whole end of days thing, it's not dead yet. It's not dead yet. I think that looks pretty good. Those fibs. I'm actually going to leave that there because that's, you know, 38.8. 38.8 is the 61.8 here, so that's a, you know, good chance of that after hitting the 78.6. Yeah. Well, I think that's the market open. I'm going to try and do this consistently at 9 a.m. I think that's kind of where I've landed around. So, yeah, hang in there. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Dropping the chat bombs. Much appreciated. Hang in there, and we will catch you in the next one. Pigs out. Oh. Pigs and bombs. Just got a question. Got a question? If you're still there. Are you still there? Got a question. Let's have it. Drop the intro, outro and everything. I was out, but I'm still in. What's the question? No. I got you. Gotcha. Question above. Oh, I missed that one. Do you think we get to 47 double top? Well, I mean, double top 47. No, I think if it comes back here, it's going above that. So if we don't break down here, if we don't lose this support, this trend line and this 61.8% fib here, or actually, I mean, my fib for the breakout is 37.6. So I'm going to go as low as that. As long as we hold, I believe if we hold above $37,500, that the next time we go to test this, we are going right above it. So the next time we go to 49K, it's going to 50K, 51K, at least, in my opinion. So if we don't lose this support, I believe it'll go right through this high, no problem. But if we lose this support, then 33,000, or, you know, maybe they wick it above that somewhere. But I'm been trusting the fibs. I trust the fibs, so we can go for some smaller moves. But I'm looking for a very ultimate low here of $37,600. And then I believe if we go back towards that, it's right through. Yeah. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate you guys as always. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Or maybe tonight. Probably just tomorrow. I like the mornings. I like the daily mornings. Absolutely. I appreciate you. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks out. Pigs and bombs.